Hello everyone. You might have noticed that there's a lot of people writing about the coffee prices rising, and that is actually true at the moment. Now the reason for this increase in price is many, and I will explain that a little bit later. But let me just explain a little bit about the market price and the prices we pay for coffee, because those are two different things. So the price that people refer to normally when they say that the coffee prices are increasing is the C market, or the commodity coffee price, which is normally set at the exchange place, which is the New York Exchange, or in London, for instance. And this price has historically been, for the last 50 years, more or less the same, revolving or around $1 per pound of coffee. And a pound is 453 grams from memory. And that's green coffee, unroasted, packed and put on a boat before it's shipped to Norway, for instance. So around $1, and now the coffee prices have been above $2 and even $3. The problem is inflation alone would suggest that the coffee price should be around $4 per pound, and that means a lot of the coffee producers around the world have been losing money or even almost broken even with the current C market price. So this price system for us is not a very good system, because it doesn't provide consistency for the producers. It doesn't give them incentives to produce high quality coffees. So we have actually been working with the same producers for many years and also been paying them a much higher price. And from memory, in 2021, our average price per pound of coffee was $5.50 per pound. That's quite a lot higher than the C market price. So even though the C market price can go up and down a little bit, we prefer to pay the same price every year to the producer, regardless of these fluctuations. And of course, we have to look at other things as well and discuss the price directly with the farmer and not with a trader or a broker, because they do not produce coffee. The cycle that we're in now is that we recently had a frost in Brazil, and that means a lot of the coffee that is normally available in the global market is not available anymore. When a frost happens, the coffee trees become brown, it loses its leaves, and in worst case, the trees will die. And best case, it will not produce for a year or two, and then after 2 to 3 years, it will start producing coffee again. And that means there's a lot of coffee that is not available in the market, because Brazil, as you may know, is the world's largest coffee producing country. So that means there is less coffee available and more buyers that wants to buy coffee, and the price go up. And normally what happens then is that since there is all of a sudden money to be made on coffee, a lot of farmers start planting more coffee. And they produce more coffee, so after a few years, there is a surplus of coffee production, and Brazil is back producing again, and then the price goes down, and then everyone lives in misery. And this cycle has been going on and on and on for many, many years, and it's not a very great thing for coffee producers. So that's why for us, it's more important to pay a good, high-quality price, so that the producer can produce high-quality coffee and have consistency year after year. So not only is the price important, but also the commitment to buy the same coffees every year. That's very, very important for us. Now, despite that, we have actually also had to increase the prices we pay to the producers slightly this year. And this is because of many things. And as you may know, you probably read the stories in the media. For instance, the fertilizer price has sometimes doubled or even tripled in countries like Colombia and Honduras. The labor cost has risen. In Honduras, it's really, really difficult to get labor. A lot of people have been starting to migrate to the US, for instance. And the price for food is higher, the price for electricity is higher, and so on. So their production cost has been rising quite a lot in the last years, due to the pandemic, of course, but also due to other things. And that means even if we pay the same price that we have been doing for 10 years now, they are making less money. So that means we had to discuss with the farmers and see how much we needed to increase. And for instance, with the Caballero family, we had to increase the price with 50 cents per pound, which is not a lot, but still it's an increase. Now, also logistics have become more expensive. So to ship the coffee from Honduras to Norway has almost doubled in price just in 1 year. And that's because there's a shortage of containers, there's a shortage of ships, there's a lot of congestions in the shipping industry, and that has just driven the prices up. As you may know, the prices for oil is up, the price for electricity and all these kind of things as well. So all the logistics companies that we use have been increasing their prices for the last years. And then the coffee is coming to Norway, and just to take the coffee from the harbor into our storage, even the price for that has doubled in 1 year. And it's not a lot of money compared to how many kilos it is, but still it's an increase. And also we have inflation here in Norway, we have labor cost rising, so everything is rising all the time. But this year has been quite a lot more. So that's why we're seeing that we also need to increase the prices on the coffees that we sell. Last but not least, probably one thing that affects our buying quite a lot, and also the prices that we have to charge for our coffees, is that the dollar exchange rate has gone up quite a lot. So the dollar is much more expensive this year than it was last year. And of course this goes up and down every year, but it's at a very, very high level at the moment. And that means because we're buying coffees in dollars and then selling it in Norwegian crowns, the coffee is getting a little bit more expensive for everyone this year. Not just for us, but for everyone. And that's just the way it is, unfortunately. Having said that, I personally believe that coffee is still very, very cheap. And that is just because even if we're paying $5 or even $6 per pound today, if you look at inflation alone, that are the prices that we should be paying compared to what the people were paying in the 70s. Also, if you calculate the price per cup, it's still a very, very affordable drink. It's probably less than €1 per cup, even if you're drinking very, very high quality coffee. And that is a luxury that most people can afford. And you know, it's such a big part of my life. Obviously, I work with coffee, but I couldn't imagine a life without drinking coffee. So it's a luxury that I really, really enjoy, and that I would like to pay a little bit more for, because I know when I pay more, that the producers are also getting a quality life and are able to enjoy quality coffee as well. I hope you learned a little bit more about how the price mechanics works in coffee. Obviously, this is a very, very complex subject. And if you want to dive a little bit deeper into this subject, we have actually recorded a great podcast together with our friends and kind of colleagues, the Coffee Collective in Denmark, Klaus Thompson and Peter DuPont. They have a lot of great insight in coffee prices and how the mechanics works, and why it's so important to pay coffee producers a better price than the sea market price. So check that out, our coffee podcast. You can find it on Apple, Spotify, Google, and so on. Hope you enjoyed the video. Take care.